What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and we are back with more coverage of Forgotten Realms Heroes of Faerun. This time, we're talking about the final subclass, the Bladesinger Wizard. Now, Bladesinger Wizard is one that's had multiple updates over the years. It was originally part of the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, where it was elf only. Then it showed up in, I believe, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It received an update in the form of Unearthed Arcana, and then now has landed in its final form here in Heroes of Faerun. So, if you like this kind of content and like what I do here, consider subscribing to the channel. We've got a lot more coverage to go in the future, covering all of the other aspects of both books, magic items, monsters, feats, etc. So, stay tuned. What we're going to do is just jump right in here and see what the Bladesinger has to offer for us. All right. So, Bladesinger. The main feature of Bladesinger Wizard is Blade Song. Also, it used to be called Blade Singing as a title, and now called Blade Song. Or sorry, Blade Singer rather, not than Blade Singing. My mistake. So, Blade Song is as a bonus action, you invoke an elven magic called Blade Song, provided you aren't wearing armor or a shield. You'll notice that that is a change from the original version, as it used to allow you to wear light armor, and they have removed that entirely. The Blade Song lasts for 1 minute and ends early if you have the incapacitating condition, if you don armor or a shield, or if you use two hands to make an attack with a weapon. You can dismiss the Blade Song at any time, no action required. While Blade Song is active, you gain the following benefits. You can invoke Blade Song a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest, and you regain one expended use when you use Arcane Recovery. That is new because this had multiple iterations. I think one of the original versions, it was you had it twice per short rest. Then it was like proficiency bonus times per long rest or something. They've bounced around a little bit. So I think this is ultimately, at least this version, I think is probably a good way to go about it. It's intelligence modifier times per long rest. But if you use arcane recovery, which is typically done, which is, done over a short rest, you get one back. Also, if you have means to get additional arcane recoveries, I think there's a couple magic items that allow that, then you might be able to get more than one usage back. But you get agility. You gain a bonus to your AC equal to your intelligence modifier. Your speed increases by 10 feet, and you have advantage on acrobatics checks. This is basically the same as it always was. The only difference, as we mentioned before, is typically in the past, Bladesingers were given access to proficiency in light armor. Where that is not the case anymore, you're basically straight up just being unarmored. Now, there's nothing to say you couldn't obviously use mage armor with this as well. Bladework, which is a new feature per the Unearthed Arcana and the final version here. Whenever you attack with a weapon for which you have proficiency, you use your intelligence modifier for the attack rolls, or you can use it rather, instead of strength or dexterity. In the past, Bladesingers were very heavy dex intelligence based because obviously your armor class is going to be adding your dex and intelligence together. This kind of, to some degree, allows you to dump dexterity and focus solely on intelligence because of the fact that you can use it for your attack and damage roll. This also opens up, it says whenever you make an attack with a weapon for which you have proficiency, it has nothing to do with, or is that only when Bladesong is active? You can invoke, you gain, yeah, while Bladesong is active, you gain the following benefits. So you don't get to do this outside of Bladesong, but there is still the potential for interesting multi-class opportunities where you could focus purely on intelligence and other things, but either way. And then finally, when you make a constitution saving throw to maintain concentration, you add your intelligence modifier to the total, and that pretty much is the same. I'm not really sure how I feel about giving intelligence modifier for attack and damage rolls. I think it definitely does incentivize, maybe a little bit of a different play style rather than splitting yourself between dex and intelligence. You could technically just go intelligence and it would work out pretty well for you. But I don't know. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but I understand the concept behind it, and we've seen that pop up more than once in multiple subclasses. Training in War and Song at level 3, you now get proficiency in all melee martial weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property, which you can also use as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. This used to be just picking one weapon of your choice to be proficient with. And then you also gain proficiency with your choice of acrobatics, athletics, performance, or persuasion. 2014, I think it had to be performance. Extra attack is the same as what we've seen more recently. You can attack twice instead of once, and whenever you take the attack action, or when you take the attack action on your turn. Moreover, you can cast one of your wizard cantrips that has a casting time of an action in place of one of those attacks. So you can cast a cantrip. The main thing a lot of wizards would typically end up doing was using something like Green Flame Blade or Booming Blade to sort of juice up the damage before they hit and then follow up with a secondary attack. I would say True Strike might be the one that kind of fills that void as your one cantrip and then a follow-up attack. Song of Defense is when you take damage while your Bladesong is active. You can take a reaction to expend a spell slot and reduce the damage taken by an amount equal to 5 times the spell slot's level. This really hasn't changed. I've never particularly loved Song of Defense, but I think probably the most important part about it is what is the order of operations in which you apply resistances. My thoughts are it's saving throw, right? Pass or fail on the saving throw. Then it's resistance. And then this kind of damage resistance would be the final thing, which is significantly better if you say succeed on the save and you're resistant to the damage type being dealt. And then now you can obviously spend a reaction to roll some or to just take some extra damage off. So Song of Defense, if it follows in that order, does have the potential to reduce the damage to nothing for you. And lastly, Song of Victory at level 14. After you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action. One thing I will point out is, oh yeah, this just says with an attack with a weapon, so it could technically be a ranged weapon for this. I really liked the original one, which is you just added your intelligence modifier to damage rolls that you make, so you'd be potentially wielding, let's say, a rapier, which you would add your dexterity and your intelligence modifier to the damage, which would allow you to do a decent amount. Let's take a look at what it was like in the most recent Unearthed Arcana. I think it basically arrived in almost the exact same form. Yep, Bladesong looks to be the same. Okay. Yeah, agility, blade work, focus is the same. Training in War and Song is the same. Extra attack is the same. Song of Defense is the same. Yeah. So they basically didn't really change almost anything from the Bladesong that appeared, at least that I could see on a cursory glance. Looks like everything there is what ended up in the final version of the book. Again, Blades Singer is a very strong class. It has the potential to get some of the highest AC out of any wizard by adding their intelligence modifier in to their AC, and then obviously with things like shield or other means of adding to your armor class as well. The only thing I'm not really sure about is, like I said, I don't love Song of Victory myself. I understand it. That's kind of what we've done now across the board with like martial slash casters, right? Where they can make 2 attacks at 6 or 5 and then swap a weapon attack for a cantrip. And then later on, we get when we cast a spell as an action, we can attack once as a bonus action. That seems to be what we're seeing. I think that's what Eldritch Knight has that, I believe, and possibly also Valor Bard. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I do like some of the more versatility, right? Rather than just giving you performance, you get a choice of a couple of skills to be proficient with, rather than just forcing you into one um, weapon choice for your proficiency. You're now just proficient with all melee martial weapons, which potentially has some interesting, options for what you're going to do, especially if you find a way to get yourself access to weapon mastery properties. Then you could really start doing some interesting stuff as a Bladesinger. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. What we're going to take on next time is probably going to be the backgrounds and then that will roll right into the feats, and then who knows where we'll go after that. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.